Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us back to today's session, the Women's Special Series that has started. We bring to you inspiring women from entrepreneurship, from government, and from various facets. Today, we have with us Yamuna Shastri. Yamuna Shastri is co-founder of Dwara Money and founder of Cap Dost. From running a bootstrapped startup for 4 years to a merger, Yamuna has led teams assisting 60,000 plus gig and unorganized workers for tax filing and financial inclusion in urban underserved communities. She was a Women's Transforming India awardee chosen from thousands of women across India, organized by WP and the Niti Aayog and the UN India, and has been personally awarded by the Honorable Vice President Sri Venkaiah Naidu ji, which is one of the biggest achievements that we can vouch for. She represented India twice at the Global Entrepreneurship Summit in 2017 and 2019, organized in Hyderabad and The Hague in Netherlands. She also was part of OECD's Tax Morale Conference, which is one of the most prestigious conferences in the financial field in Paris in 2019. The US State Department alumni received special recognition by Donald Trump, the 45th President of the United States, and the White House for the contribution during the program, and she has personally spent time in the United States with the program. She also was the winner for the state government's Karnataka Elevate 100 Tech Grant and Community Slate Accelerator by WeHub, Government of Telangana, and the Australian Aid, and was part of Reliance Industries Spotlight program in the annual 2019 report representing GeoGenNext 2019's financial cohort. Yamuna is one of the most, famous women entrepreneurs in the state, and has won several recognitions from the Deputy Chief Minister's office and is highly acclaimed for all her, entrepreneurship related activities, even in the state, assisting the government whenever possible. And I think most of the women and the girls who are listening in here, who are aspiring for entrepreneurship, she's a perfect role model on how actually a woman could crack one of the toughest sectors, that's the gig workers working. I've personally seen her working amongst auto drivers, spending nights, I think, in airports and many places to get to where she is. Thank you, Yamuna, for accepting our invitation, and over to you to talk to our aspiring entrepreneurs and students who actually want to consider entrepreneurship and who are actually thinking whether should I jump or should not I jump. So you are, I know, a perfect example of being at KPMG, being at entrepreneurship, and coming from the teaching. So I think you also were a teacher before, right? So you've been there, done that. Over to you.
Thanks, Karthik. Thank you so much. First of all, I take this opportunity to thank the entire Triple IT B Innovation Center for giving me this opportunity. To keep it simple, I'll quickly walk through what we were trying to do 7 years back. Um, I strongly believe that if you have a gut feeling to do something or crack something big, you'll figure out the way to to achieve that. And I'm sure every one of you who are here have that passion and fire in the belly. That is the reason on the weekend you're trying to come and listen something out of this session, and that's how you're here. Myself, Yamuna, been working with the informal sectors and gig communities to bring financial dignity and credibility. So currently, we've run an organization, Cap Dost, and recently merged with Dwara Money. One of the institutional investors. We have now moved from idea implementation, bootstrapping, fundraising, merger, and now actually, the whole agenda is institution building. This pandemic has actually gave us a realistic chord saying that, are we looking at next 3 years, 5 years, or a decade? um, to give what idea we were working on. We got an idea that we wanted to work with the taxi drivers, one community, and understand what are their financial problems. So we all have interactions between with our security guards, taxi drivers, our small kirana. They are the backbone of the country, but unfortunately we don't have the right conversations with them. So one of the conversations that struck my chord was, the drivers had not aware of tax filing and they had never claimed their TDS refunds. So how did I? It was all about connecting the dots. I did work with KPMG and had helped a couple of taxi drivers to get their PAN cards and Aadhaar cards. Thanks to Jandan, a lot of bank accounts were created. If not, the fintech industry has grown leaps and bounds, where people, if they do not have a rental agreement, they could not open a bank account in SBI, to where we as Dwara Money, as a neo bank, we're disrupting, where the entire financial solutions purely curated to them is just coming on three clicks away. uh, we The whole idea is, all of us have idea, but how do we make it work? If you have the first paying customer on board, that's when we can say proudly that the idea or the business is going to work. I'm a strong follower that, um, yes, startup is a good idea, yes, fundraise is a good idea, but do we have the skin in the game, not just from the founder's side but from the customer side? So is that something that the customers agree? Like how in India, marriage is not between two people but between families. Just similarly, running a business is just not between the founder and the money and the product. It's about the entire customer family that actually accepts what we are trying to build. With this, I want to quickly walk you through on what we have done. So there could be a thing that, what am I coming and sharing here with you guys? I was just thinking before the session, how much time have I even spent with the customers, and what does it mean for me, pre-pandemic, post-pandemic? I have probably spent around 45,000 hours on the ground, and I'm so feeling blessed that that 7 to 8 years of my life was a lot more of the understanding. Pan India, I have met around 100,000 drivers, auto drivers, truck drivers. This pandemic, it was like me being pulled and putting in this room. I was missing that I was not talking to customers. I was, probably I started calling during the pandemic time and understanding what the customers were doing, and I still miss the days where I was sitting in the footpath with the taxi driver, uh, drinking a cup of coffee and asking, how are you, what is life, what's happening? So customer obsession is something that you become part of their day in day out, to understand what are we actually trying to build. I'm quickly sharing my screen. So, Samara, I strongly believe that all of us network, but network is net worth only if you are able to connect the dots. I personally say that every single meeting that I have done, the first thing that I always think is, how is it impacting my customers? How is it impacting the brand that we are building? How is it impacting the knowledge or the learning that we are going to do or we are going to implement in the company? I think all of us look at customer, all of us want sales, all of us want revenue, but the obsession is not there. I have one thing to say. If not for anything after this session, please remember, if you're here, if you're really here to build a business, you have to eat, sleep, breathe customers. If that is obsession is something like intangible, first time when I got the idea that we want to work with taxi drivers, how about tax filing with taxi drivers? The moment that customers were moving, like the cabs were going, I was just feeling that my customers is running away. How do I even catch it? How do I even work with them? So the segments that we are working, what you need to most importantly look at is the three P's that I personally want to share. What is the target segment that you are serving, and what are they actually, and whom are you going to work closely, and is the team, the people, the ecosystem, do they understand? I personally believe that this PPP model, public private partnership model, it's just not about the organization, the team thinking about. When we have a problem statement, we have to make that problem statement evident to every single person that we meet and speak about the organization, and they should start owning it. Our ecosystem should start owning that piece, that okay, this is a valid proposition for the customers. So we really need to understand the target segment and work with them. Then comes the most important, content. Content comes in different forms and frames. I personally believe, if you are since we were serving the gig segment, we did not launch any app. We only launched a web app. Since it was tax filing yearly once, um, it was easy to create a base of customers. But what you need to understand is, how do you engage with that customers? What is the way of packaging of that content is done? I'm sure most of us don't read newspapers here, and but we of late we are following in shorts. Of late you're on ET app, or you consume content. So what sort of content is consumed by your customers is something that you really have to look at. So when we thought about tax filing, first of all, our taxi drivers segments did not even know about tax filing. And how do you expect me to, over a cup of coffee, go and say, hey, sir, have you filed your tax returns? In Kannada, I used to say, sir, ನೀವು tax return file ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, they may think that this is a mad person. Uh, but there is an approach. I strongly believe, going forward, it is all about communities. It is all about the customer, how you rope in through community infrastructure, backed by technology, to be able to engage that customers in the way they feel that is important. Sometimes I've really met a lot of startups, and whenever I ask, what do you know about your customers? We know about a product, we know what we are building, but end of the day, is that a useful thing for the end customer, is a question mark. So we, for over 4 years, we have done around 10,000 free tax filing campaign, just to create awareness about tax filing. We went to pillar to post. Um, we made this evident with the governments. We work with the deputy chief ministers, when during our initial campaigns. We took public grounds. We worked with Bangalore International Airport. We made this as an important piece, that it is just not the company's problem to solve this, or this is just not a need. This is a need for overall community, overall state, overall fellow group of startups, or fellow group of partners that they are also solving. I'll just give a quick important update about how important the community is. Um, you may say, tax filing, you would just create a product and just go all out, connect with B2B2C partnerships, crack it. No, that's not how it is going to work. You need to make this evident with the entire ecosystem. If taxi driver is the heart, or is my gig. The gig workforce is my heart. Who all are the other fellow ecosystem members are trying to reach out to them? There's this theory called effectuation theory, where you can think of affordable loss model. So it's like, I am also burning, or I am also trying to reach the same customer. That means there are 10 other companies also trying to reach the same customers. So we partner with Maruti Suzuki and did one of the country's largest tax filing campaign, where we took the tax just to Bangalore International Airport driver parking area. Just imagine, when we started, um, um, how can you even go and speak about financial planning and services to a gig workforce community? Plain, simple, easy. As much as we keep it plain, simple, and easy, a lot of things are going to solve. Um, and also, one thing what we need to understand is, when we were building the organization, there was one vision, just one thing. What is that one thing that you want to solve? Anytime, if you're sitting on the table, when you're having conversations, it could be customers, it could be partners, it could be the ecosystem, or it could be a revenue generating vertical, anything. Is this effort tagging to the larger effort that we are trying to build? So every single conversation needs to be mapped to where we are looking at. That's how we started. That's how we started CapDost. CapDost started as a tax filing, financial inclusion, and financial literacy thing. So it's much more beyond. So the product was only tax filing, but the overall, as a community approach, we've done around 15,000 financial literacy sessions, and have tab pillar to post, where we have made the Airport Authority of India, the GMR group, the CBDT, the Income Tax Department, international associates like OECD, which speaks about tax morale. Everybody, we are bringing them onto the same page, that this is a problem statement that our customers are facing, and this is something that we need to solve it as an ecosystem. So making to understand what our customers need in different way, trying to slice and dice and tag along with multiple partners, is something very, very important. So though we started with the cab drivers, we've moved to a larger ecosystem. There are more than 10 million people who lack financial dignity. They're still, even today, they're prey to unorganized sectors. There was a boom, large boom in 2015, 16, even probably engineers, engineer students, many people, corporates also started putting cabs. The aggregator model disrupted the ecosystem, brought all of them from cash to digital economy, yet self-employed, financial dignity is at stake. So how did we even validate? Like I said, this is our first customer. I will never forget that first set of partners who we came. Um, Me and my co-founder Shafiq, you know, when I just had an idea. What you need to understand is there are 5 pillars. um, every important decision as a startup, when we take, we need to understand whether the other person understands the customer whom you're trying, the product that you're building, and the larger mission that you want to go. Because this is just not a one day journey, and this is a journey that you never know when it is going to what stage and where does it end. And you're not looking at an end or an exit or something, and you're actually building the company. So when we got this idea, you know, okay, this is fine, does this need to be a for profit or a not for profit? How do you want to do? Was very clear that, at least we should give it out some time. We met more than 3,000 taxi drivers for almost a year to understand whether is this a social, Is it a scalable? Is there a revenue model in it? It's okay to not to do a startup, do it like a hobby. But once you consider this as a business, once you're committed, you really have to make it happen, that understanding customers can make or break the entire business. So a 45-second mention by RJ Saujanya on Radio City, where we spoke about free tax filing. More than 180 taxi drivers registered on WhatsApp. We had not met them, we did not know whomever we had met. We were trying to understand what financial problems that they wanted to solve. Everything was done on WhatsApp, and we filed around 180 tax returns, and more than 2 lakh TDS refunds went back. I personally believe that at this quote, that faith, they say, it can move mountains. If you're all in idea stage or early stage, you have no idea whether your customers are going to pay, or if there's a SaaS model, you really tech heavy. You need to understand the customers. You need to know when is the revenue going to hit. You need to know whether it is going to happen or not. In this way, a lot of things will clear. So if you see this was like in the driver parking area in the Bangalore airport. I thoroughly miss this even today. Last pandemic also, we at Spark, we did tax filing campaign even during the pandemic with all possible COVID precautions. 4 fantastic years of my life was completely with the trolley running around areas, multiple airport. All of us see that fancy side of airport, but how does it look like at the back end? How does it look like to the ecosystem, right? Go where your customers are, solve what your customers need, understand the problem. The rest, the customers will actually solve that for us. Hustle is real. Trust me, the entire idea
Sorry, can you hear me? I think you're stuck.
Yamuna, your voice is not coming.
Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
I think, yeah, now it's fine. Can I just stop?
Sure.
Still breaking, I think.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you. So go where your customers are, try to crack what their problem is. If you've really understood their problem statement, rest is solved. Rest, it is the word of mouth that the customers do, and the tech that you will be building too. So I personally believe hustle is real. When you're committed, when you belong to what you're building, you don't need any motivation, you don't need any it's that building that matters. So we started, I think Karthik has visited our place. This is the only space that we started. It was just 80 square foot space. We started with 250 rupees. We printed the flyers, and we did the brand integrated marketing campaigns. More than 20,000 people in Bangalore know this small 80 square foot space. The one that you're seeing behind is the where we have the tax filing desk, and one where you're sitting. It was a staircase space, and we converted it. If you're really delivering something right, customers will come, and there's no doubt about it. So largely what we had done is we've done so. How do we understand customers? Most of the time people when they reach out to me, or when we are discussing, when we are actually casually discussing about customers also, what happens is it's usually tops down. there's a team, you understand, you go by, you have a checklist, and you're taking your checklist saying that, oh, this feature, this product, this is fine, you're going, is the customer understanding? How do we be part of their day in day out journey that they really understand us, right? So we have done financial literacy sessions for women in the driver's family. We have done health campaigns. We have done career counseling and mentor connect programs for drivers children. A lot of things put together. So it's like, when they think about a product, so I think now we have to move from product to value creation. If you can create value for the customers, it can, it can actually translate to numbers. So we have had more than 50,000 paid customers. Even during the pandemic, in the last pandemic, we did crack Swiggy, and in span of 9 months, we have processed around 10,000 tax returns, just alone in the new engagement. Overall, more than 20 crore tax refunds have gone back. 10 crores was like pre-pandemic, additional 10, like, overall through digitization, we are able to hit around 650 cities. Yes, like I said, the problem statement once identified, we should be able to make the ecosystem understand what we are building. We did represent in multiple, multiple opportunities like Global Entrepreneurship Summit, in the financial dignity, in the fintech side. We were part of the GeoGen Next cohort. Each opportunity, we need to really divide the problem statement. When we were in 7 cities, we wanted to scale. We wanted to understand how to scale. I was randomly looking at multiple applications. I saw one of the applications was Geo. What best can you even learn with the accelerator programs like Geo? Nothing better you can be to learn scaling from kinds of Geo. I did apply, but when I applied, I had my clear agenda that once, in case if I'm being part of this application, how can I reach out to scaling the entire operations? So every activity that we do needs to be mapped to what we are actually trying to solve. Similarly, we have Government of Telangana, Karnataka Startup Cell, these, all the government engagements were really, really important. I'll also give you another personal experience that I had got a chance. So we had personally done around 2,000 free tax filing campaigns. US State Department had around 60,000 tax filing desks. I wanted to understand how was that done. We did apply and we did go through. We did understand. So, like I said, in each part of the journey, we really need to understand where we are and what we are doing. So believe in one vision, one goal, absolute no interference. We have got multiple offers from multiple partners, even investors also, saying that can you cross sell, upsell? You have 5,000 customers, you have 10,000 customer base. Absolutely no. You can always create revenue models, but your first basic condition needs to be right. We were very clear that until unless we hit the 25,000 paid customers, we are not going to go out of tax filing, because that itself is huge enough and vast enough topic to be covered. And also what you need to remember is, when you're raising funds, when you're talking to partners, ecosystem, remember, am I target my customer segment, my customers whom we are trying to solve their problem? Is it even is the same ethos there in the other partner as well? Because we have seen a lot of companies having all of a sudden that they fall apart because the customer segment or the TG or that they're serving is not happening. Do not want to name, I think one of the companies, smallest things people fight. They started a food chain, food business, two founders, and all of a sudden a large organization took over, and one founder did not want to do anything in the non-vegetarian space, and the business vertical was growing only in non-vegetarian space. The ethos clash, right? One of the founders had to let go at early stage. I do not want to name the brand, but it's really big. I'm just giving a very simple example of food, because sometimes what we don't understand is the vision and the goal, that what we want to look at, right, has to be tweaked, has to be understood in every single part of the journey that we look at. So I'm also very glad to share that after running an organization over last 6 years, we in this January we did merge with Dwara Money. Dwara is one of the India's largest financial inclusion partners, where we have touched around 65 lakh in low income households in the country. So when, like I mentioned, right, we have walked halfway, probably not even halfway. We've realized we've we have cracked a large segment, but it's about a customer's lifetime value, right? So how do we really look at the lifetime value of a customer? How can you create the right set of value with the right set of partners? So in fact, when we were we did angel fundraise, and then when we were looking out for partners for investments, me and my co-founder, and we internally decided, we were like, who in the ecosystem understands our customers more better than us? So they are the partners whom we can actually take or make the scale uh, 1x to 10x. That's how you need to really put your customers first approach. So these are the large set of customer base that we are serving. A happy customer is a happy business. What does it drop down is the customer centricity. What you need to remember is, if you just go back to your offices and put your thoughts on the whiteboard, there is never a full action for customer centricity. It's neither part action or it's inaction. That's like a sunk cost. You really need to understand that um, a customer obsession culture can make or break the organization for where we actually have to grow. Even the idea could be brilliant, but if that doesn't penetrate into the teams that we're working, partners whom we're working, it's just going to be cold. Like I said, considering the pandemic, you really have to do reverse engineering. Go back, understand what your customers were thinking in pre-pandemic, come back and say post-pandemic, how are we going to actually serve the same customers? Because today, the same customers whom you're speaking, the customers are not same. Boss, they're all changed. We have had the entire world has had a jerk of a lifetime, where the way we look at products, the way we consume things have changed. Please, whatever you're doing, stop, go back and do your reverse engineering to do what was your last understanding. Spend time to understand your customers and then move forward. Understanding customer is like breaking stereotypes. It's just that understanding can make or break what you're building. Personally want to say that just go the customer's way. Karthik and team, I just have one more thing to share quickly, and I'll share this across
Sure. Go ahead.
so that you can share it with the participants. I just did not want this to be a GAN session, but I quickly wanted to share how I have thought through over years to build the business and customers. This could be probably helpful. What happens is, a lot of businesses, when you work, is this visible, Karthik?
Yeah, it is. Maybe
Yes.
you can send us the file, we'll send it to everyone. But
Yeah. So
yeah.
just to give a, I'll just quickly walk through. I'm available on LinkedIn. If you have anything specific to brainstorm or request, or it's just I'm going to share my experience, nothing more than that. Remember that we cannot go all out all the way. We need to really choose what are the traction channel that we are looking at. Pick top three traction channels, right? Is it content marketing? Is it B2B, 2C? Is it business development? Is it sales? What exactly is your company ought to? Then look at the strategy, and make a strategy. Put a status saying that whether it is an idea testing, is the thing is tested, are you focusing on something? If something is not working, just abandon it. It's okay to try and fail. And what you need to understand is how quickly you can test the strategy also. How promising was it? Just put 1 to 5 and understand. And sometimes what we feel is in the whole into what we are doing, we forget about cost of what's the cost of acquiring a customer. The CAC is something that end of the day, when you're running business, enthu is fine, marketing is good, make your numbers should match with your P&Ls that you're working on. Then the next thing is, what are the customers that what is the expectation that your customers have? um, how many customers, any campaign, anything that you're doing, just put a number to it. Say how many customers you can expect to acquire and at what cost, and what is the time frame for it. Is it going to be in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months? And who is your good customer? Like, rate your customer through your campaigns also. And understand what sort of impressions that comes, like which strategy worked better. What was the response, the rate? Um, Sometimes even if you spend 1,000 rupees on Facebook, what is the response rate and what is the follow-up effort that you need from that? There's difference between understanding a response rate and a conversion rate. You really have to see whatever it is, whatever efforts that you put from here to the entire efforts, it is end of the day, what is the conversion rate? And with this conversion rate, how are you going to create a lifetime value of that specific customer? So this is something that I personally have worked on, like inner circle, what do you need? Uh, Promising, what are the things that you can work on? What is on long shot? You really have to understand your customers through this lens and put a milestone and work backwards. So I've shared some 2 cents that I have worked on. I hope that was helpful and would love to take up questions or anything that you feel right.
Thank you very much, Mana. And I would request everyone, all our attendees, to post the questions in the Q&A section, or the chat, preferably in the Q&A section, so that we could pick up some of those and post it to Yamuna. Or if anyone wants to speak up, you could raise your hand and Manoj would maybe let you ask the question. Yes, we're getting some. Okay, so I think you also see the first one says, if we have multiple sources to get customers, how to know which is the feasible and best one?
If you have multiple sources to look at the customers, always have plan A and plan B, and look at if you have any other partners who can bring onto the table for an affordable loss model, saying that when we were doing free tax filing campaign, the first 4 campaigns we did, later when we wanted to scale it up, we reached out to Maruti Suzuki, and we made Maruti Suzuki and team to support us for as part of their marketing budgets. Something similar to that. Always see have a 3-point agenda saying that what is scalable, which part of the idea is like the revenue generating, and which part of the idea is an experimentation, and both are good. It doesn't necessarily need to be that you're sticking for one model. Remember, at the end of the day, we're all entrepreneurs, and we really need to try, fail, embrace it. But only when you try and experiment few cohorts, you'll be able to succeed or understand what best works. Again, have a note on the customer acquisition costs so that you still are on the same page with the finances.
Okay.
Be frugal. Be frugal in everything that you do. Even if you've got $5 million funding, also please be frugal.
Many of them don't, I think, tend to be frugal. Once they get funded, they tend to spend the money. I totally get what you're saying, being in the space. Maybe, I mean, it's good initially, but I mean, if you want to stick on it, it's like a marathon race, right? It's not like a sprint. It's not a 50 meters that they're running. It should be a marathon. On that note, what are the initial obsessions you observe from the driver fraternity? I don't know what that meant, Biju, but
What was Biju?
question says, what are the initial obsessions you observed from the driver fraternity?
It's very simple. So when it comes to credit and insurance, it's a push model. Where you are putting a lot of marketing collaterals, people, sales, call. But when we were trying to position tax filing, we did not position it as a service or a sales. We positioned it as we are solving their need or requirement and their lack of awareness. So the utmost important part of our entire journey is lack of awareness. Even today, after the session, I urge and request you to go back and talk to one or two taxi drivers or the delivery partner who comes and drops your food. Ask him whether he knows about tax filing. You really need to position your product or service right.
Great. So, okay, there's one comment from Geetanjali. Happy to see Yamuna sharing her entrepreneurial journey, a very determined, strong lady. How can we approach high-level management without reference? Is one of the questions. Nice, na? I would say just stand in front of the restroom. Anyway, kidding. Oh no, I can give you an instance of Yamuna meeting Bhavish Agarwal when he actually went to the restroom at Bangalore Tech Summit, and once he got out, she got the appointment. I mean, and I was witness to it. Many of them were there, so that's why that came out, right? So that's how you approach, a founder. Anyway, over to you.
Yeah. So Geetanjali, thank you. I think if it is Geetanjali Gopal from Geetanjali Gopal, one of my ex-colleagues, when we really did this business plan in A to B near Airport Road, it was just on a tissue paper. And yes, Geetanjali. So it was Geetanjali. I was an assistant professor in one of the deemed universities where I really did not have research papers or PhDs to teach, but had enough crux, I hope. This was all started with that idea, and the journey has traveled from 2014 to 2021 thanks to the everybody's support. And the other question is, uh, how do you crack? Okay, guys, just one thing. Okay, I think many people understand networking easy, and I have a huge fan following for Karthik for that. It's really not easy. Okay, making your networking skills and metrics work is also a skill set. Even today, on an average, I reach out on the LinkedIn network. I reach out to around 25 to 50 people. I send notes. I spend minimum 4 to 5 hours in a week to get connected, starting from somebody who's built a bank in Pakistan to understanding a cab driver in London or what's happening. It is a well-oiled driven effort. And let me give an example of Bhavesh Agarwal. And I'm so thankful how life takes. I mentioned that one vision, one goal. We did crack Ola. We did expand to around 4 cities with the local connects. What efforts that we did, right? I did had to scale it. So we really wanted to scale it to 100 cities. After we came back from GeoGen Next program, we all go to accelerator programs. What is the biggest problem is we don't go ask our mentors or our ecosystem with the exact ask that we want. You beat around bush, it is not going to happen. I want to say I want to reach to Ola Bhavesh Agarwal. I want to expand to 100 cities. Period. No questions asked. That is the requirement. If your questions and asks are right, reach out to right set of mentors, and if your proposition is right, it works. Let me add one more layer to it. We were already working with Ola. uh, uh, Fast forward again, I was very persistent to meet Bhavesh Agarwal. At least I've met, I'd sent notes. He was connected on eConnect. I wanted to meet him in person and say that, we really want to take it and scale it. Uh, when I met in Karnataka startup in the summit, he did meet, he did recognize, he did speak for 5 minutes. I really wanted that 10 minutes time to talk to him. He went to the restroom. I was like, whatever it takes, Yamuna. I am talking to Bhavesh Agarwal today. No questions asked. And one more thing, when we went to GeoGen Next, I did not want to name one of the mentors whom I met there. The Geo team had invited Bhavesh Agarwal for one of their fireside chats. If you really are networking mind, the way you need to look at is this company has invited these set of 10 speakers. That means somebody in the organization knows how do we even connect to them. Go ask them. Be shameless if you really want to make or break things.
Uh, I totally go with your point. I mean, I know even at the Bengaluru Tech Summit that, Chris Gopalakrishnan dropped by a stall, and of course, Professor Sadagopan also was there. And I know how you got them there. I mean, we've been observing, all those. But of course, like Yamuna says, I mean, if you have to build, like she said, your network is your net worth. It's not about your friends on LinkedIn, or it's not about your friends on Facebook. I think it's about how many people you can actually tell the story. And I mean, I have a famous quote that I tell people. I mean, everyone says, I know Narendra Modi, I know B.S. Yediyurappa. But the catch is, do they know you back? I mean, that's very important, right? I mean, that's what,
Let me give an additional example. When we started, we did not know anybody in the industry. Trust me. We as a team, we went to Ashwath Narayan sir, the existing deputy chief minister. We waited in the lobby in his when he was an MLA. We invited him and we said, we are doing a tax filing and this is happening in your constituency, in our constituency. We want you to come and inaugurate. The reason is the ecosystem is watching. You need to have the policy makers, the decision makers, the governments, everybody in the industry should to know what you are doing. It is an intangible asset that one day when you really want to make things happen, right? Then the next call, guys, I'm very, very clear. When I meet someone, I eat, sleep, breathe business, and I eat, sleep, breathe customers. Period. No questions asked. I am shameless. I did meet Ashwath Narayan sir and I said, sir, we want to do a campaign in Bangalore airport. Can you give us a letter? It was a sincere request and he facilitated. He connected us to Sadanand Gowda sir. We got a letter. 1.5 years we were trying back and forth to get support from airport. And it just happened. This, as we speak, this is the 5th consecutive year that we are doing free tax filing campaign, and 8,000 tax returns, large tax set of tax returns have been done free through Bangalore airport.
Of course, no, we know your persistence. And the next question says, hi Yamuna, thanks for sharing your experience. As a woman, it is difficult to build credibility and have someone take you seriously, especially during pilot phase. How did you go about it?
So the anonymous attendee, you could have just put your name. I would have happy to know you so that I would have got connected to help you more. So the answer is, we all think it is women or men. It is not. It's about the patience, passion, and persistence. If you're constantly speaking about it and trying to put your best efforts, and there are tons of meetings, one SME conversation, one partnership to crack is a matter of 2 to 3 months, a solid time, and to build a deep engagement takes time. Um, it did take time. At the same time, I was just like how I mentioned, Geetanjali and I were like fellow associates. Geetanjali is pursuing like on the PhD on the entrepreneurship side, and I actually pursued entrepreneurship as my own PhD. Right, so you did I did have to put a lot of efforts and create. I'll give one more example. We were part of Global Entrepreneurship Summit 2017. I was working with Inc. Talks that got the team that got TED Talks to India. I was one of the team members who was part of this event. It was a roadshow to Global Entrepreneurship Summit. I was like, let's apply. Whether you get it or not is secondary. And we applied, and we were part of the 44,000 applications. 400 startups represented India. Again, I'll tell you, going to an event and how do you understand the follow up of that event? At the end, in the event, the KTR, the minister, he did announce with Ivanka Trump that they are going to set up a women hub and support women entrepreneurs. We were a startup based out of Bangalore. I did follow up after that to the ministry, to the team, and until even they had not even set up VHub, Government of Telangana. I was following so persistently that I knew that this he's a visionary and he's going to set up something. We did take virtual incubation in VHub after setting it up. An event happens, there's an announcement. That announcement is serious. How are you part of that early announcement? Or how do you grab that opportunity is all in your hands.
Yeah, of course, definitely. I know you. That was one of the most, very select invitee conferences which Ivanka Trump attended on behalf of, on behalf of the U.S. President, and you rubbed shoulders. I mean, very proud of that. And next question says, how to approach partners in the very initial stage for expanding our services?
Very simple. Understand if what problem statement you're solving is their problem statement also. If you go give value add services, it is not going to work. Sit, say, this is what we are building. Is this something that helps for your organization? I think most of the times what happens with the sales, BD, and positioning, I am building X, I want to push X. It's not going to work. I am working on building X. I understand this X is probable problem that you have. Is there any synergy that we can explore together? If you are if you are trying to enhance any values to the larger to the partner or solve their problem, then only they're going to entertain us.
Great. The next says, very interesting. When an IT professional is not filing income tax, how could you convince a taxi driver to file income tax?
Good question. Only 7% of the population. 7% of the population is part of the tax base. Tax to GDP ratio in Rwanda in Africa is much better than India. We all blame government. If you just sit back and think, how ethical are we in actually looking at taxes? Most of us envy, fancy to be in abroad. It could be Europe or it could be US. The reason is the tax structure is so high that everything is taken care. Today we are speaking about government taking care of health systems. What is the percentage of people who pay money on the taxes? If you go to Europe and other places, almost 20 to 30% goes to the government, and that's how your health systems are covered. So yes, I am committed to work on the tax education side, and it is not easy. More than 3 crores, 3.5 crores taxes have been paid by the gig workforce. When they say, madam, I want to buy a new Innova,
It's 17 hours.
I really have to show the right set of income. I want to buy a value-based housing. How can I show my income proof? Explain about what can your product or service take through their journey, and a lot of things will happen. I think, Karthik, we're at 5. Do we still have time?
So maybe 5 more minutes. We have a couple of questions. What do you think about micro insurance scarcity for the poor and opportunities?
So, the two pieces on the micro insurance, we are also working in case if you are looking for any opportunities, please feel free to explore. If you are doing something, we will feel free to explore with you. One. So with respect to micro insurance, two pieces. Um, Health is not something that people have worried. Health is never. We all say health is wealth, but unfortunately, until unless you lose, I think at least because of this crazy health pandemic, people are understanding, at least waking up with a wake up call that term insurance is important, life insurance is important, medical insurance is important, COVID insurance is important. There is a huge scope for the insurance, especially in the health sector, to improve, and the bite size payment model is going to really change. Can I pay 10 rupees per day, and is there a mechanism, or can I take 100 rupees, or is it a group? Then it is going to solve.
Perfect. So I think then the comment that says, thanks for the insightful session. It is more insightful than a paid course. Anyway, we take that as a compliment.
Thank you. I really would like to
Went
take
to the boot camp. But yeah, when was a time that you had to balance the needs of the customer with the needs of the business, and how did you approach it, ma'am?
fantastic. I think this is one insightful crisis that everybody goes through. When it comes to, I'll give you an example. The PAN and Aadhaar linking campaign was one of the issues. 2 years back, my team called me and they were all tense, saying that from tomorrow we cannot file tax returns. There's some new rule that is coming in. I was like, relax, let's sit and understand. So I did check, and the new rule was if the PAN and Aadhaar is not linked, you cannot file your tax returns. The biggest problem in the country, if you have to say what is the biggest identity crisis that we have, or the financial issues that has to be solved, is identity crisis. The name and date of birth is not same on PAN and Aadhaar card for the entire largest population in the country, because some random 10th grade teacher would have put some name and that is reflecting on all our cards, or there's no birth certificate. There's a lot of issues in having the same identity. If it is the same in other countries, we can even be put behind bars. Good, bad, ugly. As a country, we go with all the possible flaws and we embrace it. So I said, okay, if the PAN and Aadhaar linking campaign is an issue, let me go talk to the airport teams and understand if we can set up a desk there to do PAN and Aadhaar linking campaign. And we have done around 30,000 PAN and Aadhaar linking campaign.
Great. So okay, I mean, I think skip one. How much time is required to invest in the industry to say you have skin in the game? Maybe it should have been how much time is required to invest in your startup to say that you have skin in the game. Depends.
Let me put it in a very simple way. Your skin in the game starts the day when your own employees or team members believe in you and stay with you in your thick and thin. There was a situation, we as Capdos, we've never even taken one single government loan. It was purely bootstrapped, revenue stuck model. Independent funds that we pumped in, as because when you put your money, you will obviously have your skin in the game. One, it is a combination of running business and startup. And second, if your team, you need to really invest on the team. There was a day I woke up, we knew there was only one more month of salary in the bank. We had closed our angel investing. It will take time, because if you speak for angel investing, it will not happen in a day. There are rules. You have to go through ROC. There are tons of things to be done. Okay, so I did get onto a call with the team and said, there is no money. Next 2 months, we cannot pay your salaries. Can you still work with us?
Okay.
Do you believe that we will? It's not about working when there is no paid salary, and working as committed as what they were when they were not getting salary is a different approach. And I'm so thankful for the entire team that backed us thick and thin, where a span of 80 90 days, they did stay around, and they generated revenue and they took back their salaries. Invest in your team, make your it's not your goal, it is the overall team's goal.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying. So just to add on to all of you, I mean, it's the belief in the leader that you follow, or it's a belief in the founding team, right? That's how you got to run a startup, right? Maybe Ritesh, you can take that offline, the revenue model of Cap Dost that I'm sure Yamuna will share with you sometime.
Let me just answer Ritesh and Sukumaran's
Yeah.
question.
And when and how did you build the revenue model? Thanks.
So all the
Yeah.
revenue model, like I said, uh, you know, many people understand that the revenue model comes in cross selling and upselling. Only if you build your base right, then comes cross selling and upselling, boss. So we did have a line of income through tax filing. We even every single activity, even if you say brand integrated marketing like free tax filing campaign, it was free for the customers, but we raised marketing and CSR funds for doing the free tax filing, because nothing comes free. You have to pay the money to have one team member in a ground or campaign. To put a banner, you need money. To get a logo done, you need money. Need to tag everything through different revenue channels. And the other part is, most of the times at early stage, many people think that if I do a sprints of cross sell upsell, if I just show some traffic, some customer numbers, some revenue, this will help build valuation. Boss, sorry, that's not how it works. Even when you sit with investors, you have 100 questions to be answered. Build a strong base, build a paying customer, and then your cross sell, upsell, and other revenue verticals will fall in place. And I have to thank, we have had an amazing set of angel investors who've been there with us. It's just not about money, it's just about a lot of expertise that they bring onto the table. And now, as an organization, as a Spark at Dwara Money, we are serving urban underserved. If you are part of any organization where we can associate with, please do drop down. I have spent an hour with you. Anything back to me, please feel free to reach out, so that I can also crack some partnerships.
Thank you. On that note, could I request our CEO, Mr. Y.S. Narayan, for his closing comments? I know we are, I think, 10 minutes off schedule, but I think all the participants enjoyed it. And over to you, Y.S. sir.
Hey, thank you, Karthik. It was an extremely fascinating session, Yamuna. So thank you very much for your time. Great listening to you for the last 1 hour. The best part of it, what you're saying, is something which I personally also have believed in, because as I keep on saying, I come from a slightly different world of advertising, branding, and communications. And when I started off my career in advertising about 35 years back, one of the first things which I was told very clearly was, understand your customer first, understand your audience, understand what makes them tick, understand their hopes, their dreams, their aspirations, understand their nightmares, what keeps them up awake at night, right? So the moment you know who you are talking to and understand their pain points, then it's much more easier for you to customize your solution to reduce their pain point or make it meaningful to their lives. And I'm so happy to have heard over the last 1 year about the amazing work that you and your team have been doing. And just 2 sessions back, we have heard our director, Professor Sadagopan, talk about Indian solutions for India's problems. And this is a fantastic example of a solution where you have a huge demand. You have the best part of it was, on one hand, as you rightly pointed out, the tax-paying base itself is, the taxpayers itself are a very, very small lot as compared to the overall population of India. That's number one. Second is, the government is always looking at ways and means of adding more people onto the taxpayers' net, widening their tax base. And on the other, you do have people out there who have all the right intentions, who want to know, but they don't know how to go about doing it. And that's where I guess your CapDost and Dwara came into the picture. I think it's a fantastic offering which really meets the daily, which needs the problems of your customers, and it's been a very inspiring story to hear from you. So thank you very much for sparing time, coming on board here and addressing our participants. I'm quite sure, like me, they would have all learned quite a bit about this, and we look forward to building upon this. So thank you once again, and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
Mr. Narayanan. Thanks, Karthik. Like I said, eat, sleep, breathe, customers. The stall will fall in place.
Thank you very much.